everyone. Let's begin. So just begin with a comfortable seat. Letting the mind take a step back, a step or two back to observe the miracle and mystery of the breath of life. To witness the many currents how this energies move through us, animate us, inspire us, heal us. And a soft invitation to try to recall the ancient experience of human movement, of human expression, exploration, intuition, innate wisdom, the ancient human lineage of play and dance. And here in this shape of sitting, the contextual relational remembrance of what it is to really take up the space between the earth and the sky. To close the eyes and to trust what you feel in gravity. And all of the micro movement of the breath and how the breath moves the body. It moves the bone space. Perhaps stillness is just an orientation within movement, within the cosmic ever flux. Observe the exhalation and allow for the exhalation to be something that includes more of your embodied sense of physicality. So exhale the flesh and exhale the blood and the skin and even the air outside the skin. In other words, be inclusive as you exhale. So it's not just the lungs, the diaphragm, maybe the belly, but all of you. It's a conscious release, I think more than ever, which is saying a lot. We're being asked to be masters of letting go, of discernment and letting go of that which we do not need to carry. But first we have to know we're carrying it. So you might start with that more conscious exhale. The kind of exhalation that feels like the eyes immediately soften and the crown goes up, somehow getting taller through that release. Change the way that you're sitting. Do something different. Allow for the inhalation. So allowing the inhalation is a practice of embodied patience, a feeling that we trust that we don't have to pull the breath in desperately or control it, but to allow for it to come in. It wants to come in and to soak and saturate every fiber, every cell. Even the senses breathe. And let your heart breathe. And let the deep gut, the deep, intelligent pre-mind of the gut, let it also breathe. So you'll feel this, perhaps maybe breathing more deeply in the belly, closer to the spine, or breathing closer to the back of the interior pelvis, right across the face of the sacrum, widening the tail, finding your tail feathers. And as soon as the belly begins to breathe, the deep belly breathes, the kidneys sit back a little, the adrenals cool off. We have a slight or significant shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic, yum. Let the chest melt, the collarbones getting longer, shoulders drifting apart. All of these are responses to showing up just a little bit in our vital center, in the core, in our midline. And just take a moment, be a moment of gratitude. However it would be articulated with expression, words, or feelings, or as something in the body, or in the heart, or all of the above. So much to be grateful for. Good, everyone. So let's begin coming down onto our backs, laying down. And as you come down supine, walk your feet in towards your hips and rest the knees against each other, the feet a little wider than the hips. And with the knees propped against each other, the feet a little wide, you're going to feel a depth, a deepening of the inner thigh, the flesh of the inner thigh and the groin moving away from the top of the mouth, releasing the top of the mouth like an open sky, opposite the sits bones, opposite the toes. And imagine letting the sitting bones fall just a little bit towards the ground, creating a micro back bend in the low spine. And then that's complemented by the invitation to allow the belly to empty towards the floor. So this is really tricky to try to talk about because the hollow belly is a very different experience than just sucking the belly in. A hollow belly is a gravity. It's an awareness of the lower dantian. Below the navel, often well below the navel, there's a sinking to the deep sacral and lumbar spine, but without tucking the pelvis. It's also reciprocated by just a true opening of the rib basket. So with your next inhale, really blossom the rib basket in every direction, into the ground, out to the sides, out in front of you towards the sky. And when you do that, when you truly open the lungs, the belly is going to hollow towards the spine. And then when you exhale, keep the belly close. Melt the heart, melt the chest, melt the sternum. Relaxing the brow and the space behind the eyes. The tongue is active and it explores the mouth. There's a whole unspoken language of the tongue. It's communication with the palate, the cranium, the midline, but make sure the tongue is not gripping. Now let the knees rock very slowly side to side, but imagine that you're moving within water so that there's a slower, more engaged, more organized movement. And as the knees sway a little bit more side to side and you're rocking your feet, let the belly turn to face the knees no matter where they go. The knees stay, they brush each other. The knees are right next to each other. So you're turning the belly to face the knees. But again, see if you can engage more deeply. So try a couple of things. First, pull the feet down into the floor without lifting the hips off the ground. Push the knees side to side against an invisible self-resistance and intelligence, changing your inner viscosity, moving water or moving clay. Or let's try something else. Reference the pelvis. See if you can move the earth side to side with your pelvis. So orient to that. It's very grounding, and the earth she's heavy, so it takes a lot of work. You're going to move the ground side to side with the rolling pelvis. So when your knees go left, you're pushing the earth to the right. And when your knees go to the right, you're pushing the earth to the left. She loves the play. She loves the feedback. Now, the arms. Pull the arms into the ground. Turn on the triceps and the posterior shoulder. Open the hands. Like you're about to lift up into a bridge. There's a lot of that tone, but the hips are still on the ground. The low back should just barely brush the floor as you roll across the middle. See if you can point the knees more to one side. Remember to turn the belly towards the knees. Taking the twist up into the thoracic spine rather than the lumbar. Now go ahead and let the hips come off the floor. And as you lift up into your bridge, let the hips slide across the sky, side to side. So keep your bilateral play. Pull the shoulder blades in closer together and a little bit further away from the head. You can try lifting one heel or both heels. You'll probably lift the heel of the hip you're leaning away from. So if your hips go left, pick up the right heel. Now keep the diaphragm lower than the hips higher than the diaphragm. Drop the kidneys. Bring the knees so far, push the knees so far out in front of you that you're tractioning your spine while you're in your back bend. So feel the complexity of the side-to-side movement. Enjoy that language, that deep language of movement. Now let the heels drop. Let the hips start to come down, but keep moving side to side, like a leaf falling from an autumnal tree. Let the hips come down closer and closer to the ground until you land somewhere in the middle. Drop the knees together again for a moment. Feel all of that movement, all of the many layers and sensations. Maybe you feel some circulatory response, a widening. You feel heating, cooling, or both. Or a sense of just aliveness, a wave of lift, and a wave of ground. Both. Start to let the legs float up into the sky without using your hands. Take the legs up. And they don't have to be straight. In fact, you can lengthen the straight. You can then bend most of the time, straighten every once in a while. And start to dance your feet on the sky as slowly as you can stand. What does that mean? You're going to sink your feet into the fabric of the sky and move the sky around with your feet. So there's this, again, like you're carrying a weight on top of the feet, like you have a huge, heavy beach ball on your feet, and you're moving it around, articulating toes, ankles, knees, hips, really the whole body. But of course, it's getting your attention in the core already, so breathe easy. Try not to let the neck get too involved. We'll do that in a moment. And the legs can do anything, so you're just basically dancing upside down on your back. See if you can articulate a tonality through the whole body that is slow and strong and deep, and yet somehow also supple. Think of the shiny coat of a jaguar. The flesh is very strong, very long, very capable. Now, push your hands up into the sky, palms facing the ceiling, and take the head and chest off the floor. Tuck your chin closer to your chest. And as you move around and push the sky with your hands and your feet, you're lifting, the neck might get tired. I would try turning the head every once in a while to look to one side, or just generally look around while the head is elevated. It'll give you staying power in the neck before you have to bring the head back down. Get really creative in how you, just like you did when you were a baby. Let the head come down for a moment, resting the neck, but continue to move, push. Now make fists with the hands. Flex the toes instead of extending them, and move the knuckles as high up into the sky as you can, lifting the head back off the floor. Now way below the navel, hollow towards the ground. Last 30 minutes here. Now slowly lay down without bonking. Let the knees bend, let the feet come down to the ground. Press the legs out and rest for a moment. Bring your awareness to the sacrum, literally in Latin, sacred. And let the sacrum spread for the inhale. Continue to spread the sacrum as you exhale, feeling that also in the widening of the tail. And perhaps a feeling of a deep reservoir of life space, life energy in the deep sacral pelvis against the floor. Releasing any tension in the pelvic diaphragm. And then dropping the kidneys, letting them lay down. Releasing the neck. As the back of the head releases away from the heels drifting downstream. Beautiful, everyone. So let's bend the knees and walk the feet in and come up creatively to a seat. Sitting once again. Reorienting to gravity in the upright space. Feel the sits bones and push the sits bones down a little bit. And hooking into the fabric of the earth, of the ground, and pull the ground back a little with your sits bones. This is going to be the same as the pelvis leaning a little bit forward. And then as you pull the sits bones back a little, let the buttocks gently turn on with the legs. And then again, the belly hollowing backwards. And this is tricky again. Don't want to just pull in. You're not compressing the belly. It's below the navel at first. It just empties backwards, which is a kind of tone. And then the low front ribs yoke a little bit back towards the kidneys. Chest is open. These are just all signposts for an active core seat. We're going to start to rock side to side. So without touching the floor yet, lean over to one side, maybe so far as the hip you're leaning away from leaves the ground, and then push back across and go like this several times side to side. And so when you let that hip float, right, and that left knee is, I'm leaning to my right, the left knee is pointing, lifted, just point the left knee way off to the left. So the floating knee is pointing away from your head. Now wherever you feel the stretch, especially in the skyward belly, like here it's my right side belly, I want to really strengthen that and then go a little deeper. So we want to make our contractive space complex and mostly eccentric, lengthening under load. But it's really, that's too narrow. Stay a little forward on the loaded sits bone. Keep the kidneys back a little bit. Try looking around slowly in the head and neck, regardless of which side you're on and how far you're into it. So it takes a lot of core to balance on one side for a moment, a playful pivot on one sitting bone. Let the arms do what they need to do. Okay, and then we're going to come back up to relative neutral. Switch the way your legs are crossed. So take the hands and just very lightly touch the fingertips together. There's a practice in Kung Fu, in Wing Chun and Kung Fu, of sticky hands. And so we're going to play around with this. Begin just with this light touch between all of your fingertips. And of course you can move the pelvis, you can pulse a little bit as you like, just the seated dance. You're going to start to very slowly, it takes tremendous light touch and sensitivity as you start to move your hands around in space, always keeping contact between the hands, the wrists, the forearms, and you push and pull against yourself, finding creative, complex variations in how the shoulders articulate, the elbows, wrists, the fingers, and again, you're moving in water. Let the head look about. And so the idea, the practice is to stay in touch, the arms touching as you move around in your environment. And try like anything. There's no right or wrong here. There's only exploration and discovery, rediscovery. Let the touch be very soft, even though the whole body is deeply engaged. Like I'm shaking a little bit, I'm so engaged. So start to push and pull clay instead of water. Or you can also, as the sticky hands move around, you can move the ground around with your pelvis. So there's this intimacy and flow to how the hands connect. And of course, it's so much more than the hands. It's everything. Notice if one hand is open most of the time and the other hand is receiving. And then switch that. So it's totally asymmetrical. Well, it's been asymmetrical most of the time. Slower and stronger, like push and pull against yourself and then let it be very soft. Oi. Now let the hands fly apart and rest the hands maybe palms up on the knees. And truly empty the shoulders and arms, the chest, all the upper branches. All right. Beautiful, everyone. Let's get into some detailed sequences. Sit cross-legged with the right leg in front. And what we're going to do is we're going to lean a little bit to the left. And as you do so, set your left hand down and set your right leg like this. So that when I say set the right leg, it just means the knee up and the foot on the floor. You don't have to go super deep into your push. And then as you come up, look over your left knee, lean back opposite your left knee, and fly your right leg over the left knee without the hands. Now leading with the heel, you're going to cut across to the right, as far out as you can go, and then land the heel, keep the right knee bent, and lean sideways over the right leg, pulling the right heel down into the ground. So where you would feel a stretch there in the right adductors, the right hamstrings, really work that space if you can, and then lean up again. Lift the right leg without the hands, bring it back across, leading with the toes, and step it down outside your left knee. You put your left hand down, turn a quarter turn to your left, and come up into a crouch with the right foot leading. And stay here as the first time on our feet, so there's rocking forward and back or any kind of exploration of this simple bent-legged animal crouch where the right leg is forward. You can rotate the feet and the hips. You can pulse forward and back and put the hands down, fingertips or palms. I'm just simply going to slowly turn all the way around to your left, a half turn to your left, to switch sides. The left foot ends up in front. Moving around in the crouch, left leg leading, enjoying all of the complex, slow it down, go stronger, slower, enjoying the complex dialogue, let the breath be free. Now a quarter turn to your right, you'll end up with quasi-wide legs and more or less parallel feet, moving the hips side to side. We're going to shift the hips over to the left leg. Using the hands on the floor, carefully drop down into a side squat on the left leg. And the right leg still stays a little bent, the right toes towards the ceiling. Stay here for a moment. You start to turn to face your right leg. Put your right hand down on the floor. Lower your right hip down. Careful with the left knee. You're going to lean into the right side and roll into a push-up. You can use your left hand too. Now while you're here, swing your left leg out over your right and push back up. And then just simply turn to your right and sit cross-legged with the left leg in front. All right, so lean to your right. Put the right hand down on the floor and set the left leg, knee up, foot down. Stay here for a moment. If you go all the way into the side bend, pull the right shoulder blade as far away from the floor as you can. Then as you come up, you're going to look over the right knee and fly the left leg, hovering over the right knee. Then sweep the left leg across to your left, leading with the heel as far out as you can. Land the heel, toes up, and then lean strong and slow over the left leg, sideways. Working the stretch so it doesn't feel as much like a stretch, it just feels like action. And then as you come back up, float the left leg. Bring it back across the midline, toes leading, and step it down outside the right knee. Use your right hand, lift up into a crouch, quarter turn to your right. Left leg should be in front. So move around in this, finding your own variations, your own, so much of this is about listening to the bones, the elder bones, and let them guide you so the joints have evolved over a long time to move certain ways. Start to turn to your right 180, essentially switching sides. And don't be surprised if your stance length gets longer. This is normal and it's great. Right leg is in front in a crouch. Wow. Quarter turn to your left, legs are relatively wide, feet parallel, moving side to side, dancing, find your footwork. Putting the hands on the floor and the shoulders are working. Shift over to the right side and drop into a side squat on the right leg. Left hand outside the left thigh. Lay the left hip down. Roll to your left. Just pushing. You can lay your left temple on the earth. Use your right hand to assist your left shoulder. Swing your right leg out over your left as you come up. Sit cross-legged with the right leg in front. Is that fun? Monkeys, conscious monkeys. Okay, here we go. So we're going to lean to your left, put your left hand down, set the right leg. This is so yummy. Just this right there, the left temple kisses the earth. Oh. And then you're going to come up, and then facing your left knee, fly your right leg over your left thigh. Cut the leg to the right, heel leads, set it down. Keep everything a little bent as you lean sideways over the right leg. Strong belly, strong, turn the glutes on. That's a song. And then come up, float the right leg, lead with the toes, back across the midline, and step the right foot down outside your left knee. Left hand down, turn to your left, crouch, lift the hips, right foot leading. Go slower now, slower and stronger. More open in the breath, softer in the eyes. Open the temples, the sides of the cranium. Turning around to your left, So there's a rhythm of movement. There's a rhythm of movement. It starts as a heartbeat, then it's the breath, but then it's the movement of the pelvis, the pulsation. Vibratory. Everything is resonant and vibratory. Quarter turn to your right. You're symmetrical, moving side to side. Sit over on the left side in a side squat over the left leg. Put your right hand down outside your right leg. Set the right hip down. Carefully roll to your right. Right temple kisses the earth. Maybe. Try not to dump the right shoulder, really important. Swing the left leg out while you're here. Come up and you turn to the right. Sit cross-legged with the left leg in front. It's a little shuffle. This is all the stuff we could have done a long time ago by the fireside in the dirt. Okay, just use your imagination. Lean to your right. Set the left leg, right hand down. Push. Oh, yes. Come back up. Face the right knee. Hover the left leg. Lead with the heel as the left leg cuts across to the left. Heel down. Side bend over the left leg. Try not to lock your left knee. Pull the left heel and left sitting bone down powerfully. And as you come up, hover the left leg again. Use your Jedi mastery and guide the leg across. Foot down outside the right knee. Turn your right. Lift the hips. Crouch, left leg leading. So another big variation in the crouch is the feet just further apart, a longer stance, heading towards the shape of a lunge. Go ahead and turn around to your right 180. So now it could be a crouch or a lunge with the right leg leading. But it's this fluidity of movement, slow, the meditation in motion. Aye, that's your mantra. Turn to your left, quarter turn, wide legs. And then dance your hips over the right leg. Really active right foot as you drop into a side squat over the right leg. Right foot active means the toes really digging into the ground. Set the left hand down outside the left leg. Left hip down, roll left. Swing the right leg out on top. Come back up, turn to your left. Cross-legged right leg in front. Pause for a moment. We'll do one more round momentarily, but just pause and feel there's so much to experience. So the power of discernment. It's one of my favorite Sanskrit words, buddhi. Like Buddha, but an I instead of an A at the end. This is something we all have access to. Because if we didn't, we'd be like completely insane. There's a power of discernment. And to feel as knowing what is your personal truth in the embodied, in the life, in existence, and that which we may recognize as something we can lovingly lay down and let go of. So all of this contextual landscape, this huge open vista of feeling, of seeing, perceiving, witnessing, experiencing, is necessary to recultivate wisdom. Lean to your left, left hand down, set the right leg. Ooh, push back up, face the left knee, fly the right leg high over the left knee. Lead with the heel, cutting across to the right, setting the right leg down, leaning sideways over the right leg, strong belly, all the way around the lower torso. Then as you come back up, lift the right leg, leading with the toes, bring it back across, set the right foot down outside the knee, turn left, everyone, crouch, lift the hips. And maybe you turn your feet out all the time. Try turning the legs in across the midline. Hips deluxe. Slowly turning around to your left, 180. Enjoy the transition. Everything is a transition. Life is a long, beautiful sequence of transitions. And stillness found within all of that flow. Quarter turn to your right. Shift over the left leg, side squat. Lay the right hand down outside the right thigh, right hip down, and then roll carefully to the right. Swing the left leg out, push back up, turn to your right, sit, left leg in front. Woo! It's amazing, it elevates the heart rate, right? It's pretty wild. Or is it just me? Lean to the right, set the left leg. Oh, yes. Push back up. Good. Face the right knee. Fly the left leg. Cut with the heel first. Cut across to the left. All core. Lay the left leg down. Lean sideways over the left leg. The back of the left leg super strong. And then as you come up, lift the left leg again. Toes first. Bring it back across the midline, stepping the left foot down outside the right knee. Turn to your right. Lift, crouch, left foot forward. So moving forward and back with the hips is one of the primary variations here. That's just so yummy. You can sit so far back, the left leg is almost straight. Turn around to your right, 180 degrees. Oh yeah. You can also take the hips higher to straight legs. You can take the hips lower in a crouch. Quarter turn to your left. Bringing the hips over to the right side for the crouch side squat, and left hand outside the left thigh. Left hip down, roll to your left. Carefully loading the left shoulder, swing the right leg out. Turn to your left as you come up and sit. Right leg ends up in front. Can we allow the natural force of the energy of life to guide us into alignment? It's a more harmonious relationship in gravity, with gravity. And midline starts to become mid-space, an open channel, both so abundant and so empty, hollow at the same time. The two sides of the coin of Purnam and Shunyam, in Sanskrit meaning fullness or wholeness, and void, are complementary aspects. Okay, let's do another one. We're going to start in the same space, right leg leading in a seat. All right, here we go. So just put your fingertips very lightly on the floor in front of you and brush the floor as you slide, lean forward, folding, and slide the hands way out in front of you. Then while you bow forward, the head almost touching, sweep the arms way out to the sides and around behind you, and then come up. As you come up, set the hands down behind the pelvis, and the hands are going to turn out away from each other, fingertips away from each other, thumbs forward. Take the wrists pretty close and push the ground down as you let the shoulder blades come together and lift the chest, and then draw the diaphragm back a little, and way below the navel, draw back to the sacrum. Now, try to stretch the fabric of the ground between your hands, so you're pulling your hands apart, but they don't move anywhere, and then move your upper body side to side. So you're moving the whole planet, left to right, right to left, with your sits bones, your legs, and your hands. And I really want to invite you to really engage. You're pulling your hands apart pretty much with everything that you have. Let the head relax and lay back and look around. Now you're going to rock to your right, and then you're going to look left. And as you look left, you're going to let the right hand come off the floor, turn to your left and come into a crouch. Again, right leg leading. Turn to your left, right leg is leading. It's a short stance this time. Let me try to guide you through this without you watching me, but Turn to your left a quarter turn. End up with basically feet about hip width or a little wider, and you're rocking side to side in a fold. Now put your left hand down off to the left a little bit. Come onto your right fingertips like this. Bend the knees. Fly your right leg up into the sky. And then as you drop the right foot over the top, turn to your right and land into a squat. Your hands on the floor behind you. Nice. Good. Now, put the right hand, there's a right hand down behind you. Slide your right leg forward, toes out. Now lift the hips. Good. And what we're going to do is step over the top slowly and bring the left foot forward into a lunge. Now play around in your lunge because why not? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm almost off camera. I love it. Okay, now you're going to rock towards your left leg. Try this. You're going to slide your right foot to your left, but the quarter turn to your right. End up in a squat, the right foot leading. So that looked like this. Something like this. Okay? There we go. Then we're going to duck walk. Use your hands if we need to. Duck walk your left foot forward a bit. Okay? Yeah, so now you're in a squat with the left foot leading. Turn a quarter turn to your right. Drop into a symmetrical squat. And then sit down and lift the feet off the floor. Lean back and push your legs out into the sky. Don't hold the legs with the hands. Fly the legs forward and up. And then as you come in and sit, it's the left leg in front. Okay, so folding forward, slide the fingertips way out on the ground in front of you. And then arc the hands way out to the sides and behind you as you come up. Set the hands down behind the pelvis, fingers out. Push down, grab on with your fingertips and stretch the fabric of the ground by pulling the hands apart. Back bend, but bring the front body to the back body. Pull the shoulder blades all the way together, elbows unlocked. Let the neck be loose, smooth, and the eyes. Move side to side by moving the planet with your hands, side to side, and with your sits bones. Side to side. Move the whole globe. Side to side, beautiful breath. Breathe. Let the whole body breathe. Now rock your upper body to your left, and then look to your right. That's where your exit. Quarter turn to your right, right hand down, lift the hips, a short crouch with the left foot leading. Very short. And then a quarter turn to your right into just a simple fold. Now set your right hand down, a little bit off to the right, left fingertips. Pick up the left leg, wheel it over the top, and then turn to your left, set the left foot down, and turn 180 into a squat with the hands on the floor behind you. Now the left hand stays down, push your left leg forward, turn the toes to the left, lift the hips, step over the top very slowly, right foot forward into a lunge. You basically turned around 180, right leg is in a lunge. Moving in the lunge. Whew. Yum. Now, balancing almost on the right leg, hover the back foot close, and then the left foot, quarter turn to your left foot leads in a squat. If you can do this without the hands on the floor, great. Otherwise, use your hands to support the knees, duck walk the right leg forward, and then a quarter turn to your left into a symmetrical squat. Have a seat, push the legs up into the sky. It's a quality of reaching through the heels, and then sit, right leg crossed in front. Pause. There's so much more room for the present moment. Biogeographical and bioenergetic field, they are vast. Lean forward, slide the hands out in front. Lift the belly away from the floor. Slide the arms way out to the sides, making great arcs. Hands behind you as you come up. Push the hands down a little closer, the wrists a little closer. Grab the ground, stretch the ground. Back bend. Keep the sits bones down. Keep the belly close and move side to side. And you're going to resist your own movement. That's how slow and strong it is. Now the neck is going to try to freak out and help out and doesn't know what to do. Just relax and let the head listen to, let the head enjoy the core intuitive movement. So the head looks around and is free of having to figure it out. Now you're going to lean the upper body to the right a bit and then look to your left. You're going to turn to your left as you come out. A quarter turn left, lift the hips, and you're in a crouch, a short crouch with the right leg leading. Quarter turn to your left. Basically the feet come parallel, relatively close, moving side to side in a fold. Now set your left hand down off to the left. Assist with your right fingertips. If you look through the left hand and left foot, you can see where your right foot's going to land. Take your right leg way up. Turn it around. Drop the right foot. Turn into a squat. Hands on the floor behind you. Right hand down. Slide the right leg forward. Toes to the right with the hips. Step slowly over the top. Left foot forward in a lunge. Move. Find your variations in the lunge. One of the best hip experiences. Balance on your left leg as you hover the right foot to the left, quarter turn to your right, right foot leading in a squat. Duck walk the left leg forward, quarter turn to your right, squat. And sit and fly the legs. And sitting cross-legged, left leg in front. Leaning into it, sliding the hands forward, bowing to the earth. Lift the kidneys towards the sky. Arc the hands around to the sides and behind you as you come back up. Put the hands down, wrists very close. Grab on with the fingertips. Stretch the fabric between the hands by abducting. Pull the hands away from each other. Rock side to side. Now lift the upper chest more. Draw the diaphragm, the whole diaphragm, respiratory diaphragm, back a little bit. Sits bones push down and back. The legs are on. The buttocks are on. You're moving the planet side to side because you're that strong. And you're that aware. Empty the neck, the eyes, the jaw, the tongue. And we're going to lean to our left, look to your right, exit, a quarter turn to your right, lifting the hips, short crouch, left foot is in front. Now let the arms drain, and feel a beautiful rush through the chest. Fingertips to fingertips. Quarter turn to your right. Now put your right hand down a little bit off to the right and forward. You're going to lift the left leg way up. And with your eyes, see where your left foot's going to land. Feel it before it happens. Turning to your left 180 into a squat. Hands on the ground. Keep your left hand down. Left leg pushes forward. Toes to the left. Lift the hips. Step over the top. Slow into a lunge. Right leg leading. Work. You're going to work hard and be soft simultaneously. Balance on the right leg. You're going to let the left foot slowly float. Quarter turn to your left. Squatting, left leg leading. Take a step with your right leg. Turn a quarter turn to your left. Squat. And sit. And fly the legs. And sit cross-legged. Right leg in front. Can we try something? This happened this morning at the end of practice, and I didn't write it down. I wanted to see if it would be okay on the hardwood floor. That's the disclaimer. Check this out. Just watch before you do this. So you're going to set up a bridge. Basically, you're going to lift. You're going to start so that the rhythm is going high and low. Okay. And then one time you're going to lift the left leg and bring it over here, toes down. You're going to roll over the top. Lift. Come back down. Notice the asymmetrical hands. Lower back down. Roll back across. Careful. Okay, and then we go the other way. Oh, it's so yummy. You want to try? The push-up part's really easy. Ready? So lay down. Walk your feet in. Let me try to walk you through this. And you know, so much of this is about you playing and letting your body figure it out as you go. So first, arms down by your sides. Keep the feet relatively close to the midline. Knees close. And without tucking the pelvis, pre-engage by pulling the feet down until you feel the hamstrings and buttocks turn on. And then follow with the tone, with the hollow belly. Lift the hips up. And just start oscillating up and down with the hips for a moment. You can lift the heels when you go high if you want. You know, so it's harder actually to keep the heels down and go really high. You know, let the left foot float off the floor. Just lift the hips a time or two. The left knee climbing up. And then this time out, lift the hips and push the left leg up. Turn the toes out. Roll onto your left shoulder. That left palm is up. Then lay down as you roll onto your belly. Now the left hand is back near your hip. Fingers backwards towards the toes. The right hand is at a push-up position. See if you can push up. You might do it on your knees and then come up to plank. So any way you get there, get into a plank with asymmetrical arms. So everyone, your left hand is back like this. Okay. Then lower back down. Slide the left hand straight, the left arm straight, and turn the palm up as you roll back over onto your back, over the left arm. Okay, here we go. Lift the hips. Was that okay? It wasn't much of a response, but lift the hips. Take the right foot off the floor. Now lift the hips and push the right foot into the sky. Turn the leg out. Roll onto your right side. Right palm is up. You pull the shoulder into the ground. Roll onto your belly. Now flip the right palm to the ground. Lift up. Asymmetrical plank. So the hands basically turn 180 from each other. Left hand under the left shoulder. Right hand back near the hip. Lower back down. Slide the right arm straight, turn the palm up, roll over the right shoulder. You have to engage onto your back. Lift the hips. Send the left leg up into the sky, lift the hips, turn to your left, roll. Tuck the toes under, roll onto your belly, asymmetrical push-up. Lower back down. Slide the left arm straight first, palm up. Roll over the shoulder onto your back. Right leg up, lift the hips. Turn the right leg out. Land the right toes, roll onto your right side. Lift up. Lower down. Slide the right arm straight, palm up. You can lift your hips as you roll onto your back. Lift the hips, left leg up. Oh, I think we have 106 more to go. Roll onto your left side. Oh, onto your belly. Asymmetrical push. And lower down. Make sure your left arm is long, palm up. Roll back over onto your back. Lift the hips, right leg up last time. Turn to the right. Wow, somebody's having fun. Roll onto the belly. Lift up. Lower down. Roll over the right shoulder onto your back. And rest. Now, if you've been holding your breath the whole time, don't do that anymore. When we do things that are new, or uncomfortable, or both, or awkward, all of that, it's so good for the nervous system. And we'll hold our breath sometimes, and that's okay. said to me yesterday, she's like, I know it's a big deal. There's a lot going on in the world. It's really intense. But she's like, this is like apocalypse light. And then we started playing around with like Aquarian apocalypse, and it turned into this ridiculous word, aquariocalypse. But I know there's a lot of suffering, and there always has been. But if you have the opportunity and the privilege to access all of the teachings of wisdom and embodiment and spiritual discipline, spiritual awakening, and we can spend this time together and practice, we are so grateful. If you're feeling good, then share it with the cosmos. Okay, you're going to bend the knees and walk the feet in. Come up to a seat. Roll up to a seat. There's more. There's more. Oh my God. Okay. There's all these seated phrases just came about the last 2 days. I'm going to start with the right leg in front again. And enjoy being upright. This is a beautiful relationship between uprightness, whether we're sitting or standing, and laying down. Gosh, so much magic. Okay, let me show just this first part because the words may not do it. So the right leg is in front. Just watch this first part. I'm going to lean left again. I'm going to set the leg. And as I come up, I'm going to move this a little and turn to the right this time and lift into a crossed, very short crouch. Okay, and whatever you do here, it's fine. And then there's the fun part. You put your right hand down. As you turn to the left, there's a lunge, okay? Here we go. Right leg leading. Lean to your left, put the left hand down. Set the right leg. Now draw the left shoulder blade all the way to the thoracic spine and away from the floor and towards your tail. Use your right hand if you need to, okay? And then as you come up, you're going to look to your right. Lift the hips right into a very short crossed crouch, right leg over left. The right leg should still be in front. Now do what you can here, just kind of move your hips, just find your dance. There's a lot in just bending the knees and turning the legs out, or turning the legs in, long legs, lifting the heels. And then as you drop back down towards the seat and turn left simultaneously, you lay down for a second, with the left hand down, slide your right leg forward and climb into a lunge. Right leg is in front. Play in the lunge as you have been doing. Now put your right hand down next to your front foot. So right hand forward and right foot forward, and step the right foot back into plank. Balance on your right hand, look to your left like a side plank with the left foot in front. So you have a scissor stance, left foot leading. Take a little step forward with your right leg in side plank. Now, turn towards the ceiling and put the left hand down, and you're in a reverse plank. Now balance on the left hand, come up on the left leg, side plank, but this time, just like we did before, bring the right leg around over the top into a lunge. Did any of that make sense? Stay here for a moment. Now, quarter turn to your left, wide legs, knees bent. Once again, shift over to the left leg for a side squat. Make sure the right knee is not collapsing. Stay here for a moment. Enjoy. Now, what we're going to do is similar to what we did before. Bring your right hand to the floor outside your right leg and drop the right hip. Now, go ahead and fold the left leg right where it is, like Virasana, the left toes pointed, you're on the top of the left foot, and fold your right leg so the right foot rests against the left knee. I used to call this Virasukhasana. And just kind of slide the spine out in front between the knees and drop your right lung a little lower than your left. You might set the left thumb in the crease of the left hip and melt the space around the thumb. Strong, where you're stretched, you're going to engage and you'll get so much out of it. Now here's a little trick. Come back up. What you're going to do, watch this, slide your right foot a little bit forward. And then what you're going to do is use your hands, you're going to lift up and sit on the other side of your left foot and turn to your right. You end up right ankle over left knee. Just as long as you end up here, it doesn't matter how you got here. Push the right ankle down really deeply into the left knee and lean forward for just a moment. Try to be so active in the right hip that it's not even feeling like a stretch. It's feeling like something so huge, though. Yeah. Then what we're going to do is come up, lean to your left again, but as you do so, fly your right leg way out to the side, and then as you come up, sit cross-legged with the left leg in front. Pause. Okay, so lean to your right hand down as a push-up. Set the left leg. Pull the right shoulder blade away from the floor towards the tail. Come back up. Turn to your left. You're going to lift the hips into a crossed, tiny crouch. And this is going to be mostly long legs. But move around very subtly, creatively in this space. Find your footwork, my friends, so the feet are not too heavy or too light, but they're able to play. Which is also an expression, a translation of core energy coming down from the core, through the hip, to the knee, to the foot, through the ankle. Now we're going to turn to our right as we sit back down. But as you do so, slide the left leg forward into a lunge. Left leg leading. So lunging and crouching are very close together. These all the shapes are close together, except maybe standing and supine. But so sometimes you'll back your hips up so much in the lunge that it's just a great big crouch. Okay. Now set the left hand down. Slide the left leg back into plank. Balance on your left hand, turn to your right, and end up in a side plank with your right foot leading in scissor stance. Slide the left leg forward underneath, then turn towards the sky. Put both hands down in a reverse plank. Lift the hips, then balance on the right side. Looking to your right, now step the left leg over the top into a lunge. Left leg leading, lunge. Quarter turn to your right. Shift over to the right leg for a side squat. Now set the left hand down outside the left leg. Sit down. Folding the right leg outside the right hip. Try to be on the top of the right foot. Left foot against the right knee. Fold right down the middle between the knees. Drop the left lung lower than the right, because the left hip is lower than the right. Fly the sits bones way back. Find your tail feathers and let the belly hollow towards the spine gently. As you come up, you slide your left foot just a little bit forward beyond the knee. Pick your hips up, sit over the other side of the right ankle, left ankle on top of the right knee. Pre-engage by internally pressing down on the knee with the left ankle. Keep the inner heel really long as you lean into it. Strong, strong, strong. So strong in the left hip. This is what heals. This is what heals and gives you lasting flexibility. Work, work, work. Oh my goodness. Somebody say something. And now you're going to come up. Now, lean to your right. Fly the left leg way out to the left, and then come up and sit right leg in front, cross-legged. Time check. Good. We have time to do that whole thing one more time. Okay. All right, so we're going to lean to our left, set the right leg. Conscious, conscious, conscious. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Assist with the right hand if you need to. And then as you come up, you're going to turn to your left into a short crouch. Did I do that right? I didn't do that right. Sorry, everyone. Go back to your push. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. Left hand down, side bend to the left. Then come up, turn to your right, and lift into that crossed tiny crouch. There's nothing tiny about it. And then you're going to turn to your left, set your right hand down, turn to your left, and as you come to a seat, slide the right leg forward as you turn to your left into a lunge. Put the right hand down, step the right foot back into a plank, turn to your left like a side plank, it is a side plank, step the right foot in front in a scissor stance. Then turn the chest towards the sky, toes towards the sky, left hand down, keep your hips high the whole time, roll onto your left side. Slowly step over the top of the right leg into a lunge. Bonus points if you get that sound on the floor from the lunge. Quarter turn to your left. Slide the hips over the left leg into a side squat. Right hand outside the right leg. Lower the right hip down. Fold the left leg by your side. Right foot against the left knee. Fold right down the middle between the knees. As you come up, slide the right foot just a little bit more forward. Sit on the other side of your left ankle, turning to your right. Right ankle over left knee. Pre-engaged. When you pull the sits bones back, the glutes are on, the legs are on, everything's on. Pushing the right ankle down into the knee as you lean over the top. And then as you come up, lean to your left, left hand down. Fly your right leg way out to the right, and then as you come up, sit with the left leg in front. Cross-legged. Lean to your right, right hand down, set the left leg. All of this interaction with the earth, and then push back up, turn to your left, lift the hips. You have a crossed, short stance crouch. The left ankle is crossing the right. You can make a little more space if you need to, but move around in this. And then as you turn back to your right, as you sit, left hand down, we're going to slide the left leg out in front into a lunge. Put the left hand down, set the left leg back into a plank. Look to your right. Right foot leads at first, and then you're going to step the left foot out in front. Turn towards the ceiling, right hand down. Turn over onto the right side. Step the left leg over the top into a lunge. Quarter turn to your right. Bring the hips over the right leg in a side squat. Lower the left hip down. Sit in your Virasukha, the right leg folded on your right side, left foot up against the right knee. Now soft dive right down the middle between the knees. Use your hips to come back up. Slide the left foot a little bit in front of you. Sit on the other side of the right ankle as you turn to your left ankle over right knee. Find the sits bones, sit tall, pull the ground back with your sitting bones, and then pre-engage by pressing down into the right knee with the left ankle. That will usually invite you to lean into it. It's the action of that engagement that's a yes that brings the spine over the top, leaning into the moment. Super strong. As you press down on the knee with the ankle, pull the knees apart too without going anywhere. And come back up. Beautiful. Now lean to your right. Fly the left leg way out to the left. And then as you come up, sit right leg in front. Beautiful, everyone. Let's take a little while on our backs, resting. Again, the key word, allowance. Allowing ourselves to be wide and deep, totally activated and reorganized as nature intends, as Source intends. So as one story goes, right, the cosmos, the intelligence, the consciousness that permeates all of the cosmos, asks itself a simple question: what can I become? This is pre-ego. The etymology of the word existence is literally to come into being. So perhaps all of our movement and everything that you're feeling now is a result of that curiosity and that exploration, the diversification of that question, what can I become? But do it for existence more than for the small self. of awareness to your transitions. Transition from the space you're in now to the first movement. The toes, the fingers, the nose, the spine, whatever it is, wherever it is, just be aware. And it will build a momentum in a direction and an intention to return to a seat in time. And sitting comfortably, just acknowledging and recognizing the past so many minutes are really rather timeless. It's both very fast and it can also be like an eternity, just acknowledging the fuzziness of time when we get into this practice, our practice. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up as you do always, both here and there. Blessings, gratitude. I'll see you soon. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, Sean. Blessings.
Thanks, Katie. You're
Yes,
welcome.